Vehbi, thank you so much for being with us here on TRT World. Now, these earthquakes were a simply colossal event, weren't they? In your estimation as a historian, just how significant was this disaster in Turkey's history?
Well, it's absolutely devastating, and probably one in a couple of centuries you would see something like this at this scale, because we're talking about within a very short time, over in the Richter scale, we have over 7.2. And like while people were still in the shock of that in the early hours of the morning, and they had another one at the same scale, which actually caused probably more damage than before, because the first one already shaken the houses from its roots and broke many of the concrete that supposed to hold these buildings. So, I mean, as we now witness in your footage, that hundreds and thousands of buildings leveled down and not giving any chance to anyone to actually run for safety. So that was, I mean, everyone acknowledged that as a very rare occasion at this large scale to have two earthquakes after each other. So even historically in Turkey, we are in an earthquake zone. We did not witness something like this. And let's also remember, it did not only cause extensive damage in 6 major cities in Turkey, mainly east and southeastern part, but that also caused a lot of damage northwestern part of Syria, and it was felt in Lebanon, in Jordan. Even now we have reports that the measuring equipments immediately captured it in Australia, as far as in Australia. So it was that bad and it was that big.
And of course, 2 years on, the immense recovery continues. How much has this event shaped the region where it happened in the country, and how much do you think will it continue to shape it?
Well, it does. That was a very big, I think, lesson to learn, that it's very serious. And now the building regulations in Turkey updated, and I know personally that no one wants to miss anything in between, so they want to do it according to the earthquake regulations. But of course, what's more important here is those hundreds and thousands of people who lost their homes, government doing their best to build as much as they can. We know that now it's over 200,000 families, let's say, moved in or about to move in these new constructions. But let's remember, there's also major plans to kind of rebuild these cities as much as possible away from the fault lanes, so then at least minimizing in the future the death toll. So they're also demolishing the housing that's not so stable, or even in a slightest chance that it could have sustain some damage. So they're demolishing them. So the operation continues, but it's a colossal operation, and it's not completed yet. There are hundreds and thousands of people still waiting. But nevertheless, we know that the initiative is there, and we know that a lot of resources has been deployed to build these new cities, new towns, new villages, and so that it wouldn't be repeated in this scale. But it is, as I said, in any terms, it was a colossal natural event. And people now, it seems, taking more precautions.
And as you say, a tragedy of astonishing magnitude for the people who lived there, and as you mentioned, an enormous effort to rebuild homes and buildings. But there were also the losses of historical landmarks, weren't there? Those were significant. How much has been lost in that regard?
Well, a lot. We know that many historic mosques, not only historically significant, but also had a significant place in our cultural history, demolished, as well as churches. That's also reported. But what is at this point, I don't know, a bit of hopeful that because of these buildings, historic buildings, had their own what is it, drawings and sizing, and I mean the records are kept. So we're just hoping that they would be rebuilt easier than before. Obviously, probably wouldn't have the same stones, same material, but nevertheless, they would be regained to the society because, I mean, especially in Hatay, in Antakya, the city, it's a major historically important city. I know that archaeologists as well involved, and the architecture and people, the art historians involved, so that these cities would be rebuilt with its own historic and culturally significant architecture, and which that what people waiting, because from all around, not only Turkey that would have visitors, but also worldwide has significance. Especially Hatay and Antakya, I'm saying, because it's a major center for Christianity as well as for Islam.
Certainly would be very good to be able to rebuild that to some extent to replace what has been lost there and help future tourism efforts. Vehbi Baysan, Associate Professor of History at Ibn Haldun University, thank you so much for your time.